It's been a while since I've featured Norska on the channel, so today we're going for a meme battle. I've got Throg, who's definitely not a meme, but backing him up with some ice trolls here, up against Grease's Goldtooth. Let's take a look at the builds real quick. Throg, of course, anti-large AP, Frostbite, all going to be great here. Regeneration and all that jazz, same thing, not the anti-large, but the AP Frostbite of the Norsca ice trolls will hopefully be decent here. For javelins, of course, that anti-large missile is going to be excellent against ogres. Spearmen up front, 3 Marauder Horsemen over on the flank with a Fire Balefiend for the caster. For the ogres here, got some lead belchers. Of course, Grease is leading the way. Some bulls with dual weapons, 2 man-eaters, great weapons. The Regiment of Renown Sky Striders, the crushers there. The Saber-Tusk pack, a couple of them on each flank, or one there, I think one over here. Yep, who's about to be enraged. And yes, Ogres did forget to bring a caster in this particular replay, but that's okay. Still going to be a very fun and awesome replay, I promise you. So initial skirmishing here with the Marauder Horseman Javs, of course, going to send the Saber-Tusks into an enrage, so I can kind of draw them out of position and isolate them. But a big frontal engagement going to get underway here. The Noblars clashing with the Marauders. Ice Trolls moving in. Ice Trolls are going to be great for getting into the second line here and going after those lead belchers, but over here on the side, they're going to get tangled up with the Sky Striders, and even with Cascading Fire Cloak, give them a little bit of a buff, really not going to be a great engagement for them at all. Of course, the Sky Striders do also have Frostbite themselves with their big frosty blades. Nice countercharge in here from the Man-Eaters. Great weapons also going to break those Ice Trolls there with my Javelins moving in response. This flank is going to go pretty badly for me. In the center, though, I have Greasus matched up 2v1 against Throg and the Balefiend. This is a really nice situation for me to be in with Throg. Definitely outclassing. I mean, just with the regeneration alone, even though Greasus has more weapon strength, they are very similar in a number of ways in terms of their stats, you can see. But Throg's regeneration, and of course the fact that the Balefiend is helping him, means that that engagement should go very well for him. The rest of the battle, though, not going so well for me. Huge break over on this side. Trolls running for the hills. 3 Javelins, it looks like, been compromised as well. So absolute disaster over on that flank. Let's see if I can manage to pull it back. Marauder Horseman get a nice dismember. Great play by my opponent there. I believe this is Okoi that I'm fighting, if I remember right, who's not a multiplayer content creator, but definitely is an awesome, fun dude. And an awesome, fun battle. So Greasus is struggling, it must be said. Very close to his own demise, but the Ogre Bulls are going to try and run in there and help. Again, Trolls with Frostbite, Cascading Fire Cloak, just to give them some extra AP weapon damage. Not that you necessarily need AP against lead belchers, but just the extra damage in general does help there. Man-Eaters, great weapons, also matched up against these Ice Trolls here. With the support of the Marauder Spears, this will go okay. It's a decently cost-effective engagement for the Trolls as long as they don't lose their leadership. But Sky Striders coming back in as Greasus falls in the distance to Throg. They're going to countercharge, try and bail out the lead belchers from the Ice Trolls. And this unit of dual weapons fell back. They didn't want to overextend into the Marauder Horsemen, I guess, but honestly, in hindsight, maybe they should have kept up the pressure to keep these 3 units routing. I'm going to start to get some Javelins and Ice Trolls back. With the Saber-Tusk packs also overextending in the Enrage, we're going to be able to break them and get 2 more Javelins back. Super critical in the late game. I need those Javelins to take out these elite targets here. I mean, Throg will do okay fighting these Sky Striders, but right now he's getting pretty low on HP. He's also got the elite anti-large AP of Man-Eaters with great weapons. He's currently hammering it out with. Sky Strider's also coming for a charge here, so he's about to get fully surrounded and unable to escape. So we're just going to throw him into tank mode here, try and get all the Javelins within range to start throwing at the Sky Striders. Even with their 120 armor, should still be able to get some fairly solid damage with those anti-large Javs. That does leave the lead belchers able to come back, though, and start to open up. Not sure exactly what they're shooting at. Priority target for them definitely should be the Javelins at this point. They are certainly the most dangerous thing to Okoi's build here. But, yeah, Throg has a few Ice Trolls helping him out. A handful of Marauder Spears that look like they're running away. But the Javelins raining in definitely helps. Another Cascading Fire Cloak right as Throg routes, unfortunately. He might be able to squeak out. Let's see. The Sky Striders also route at the same time, with the Ice Trolls kind of seeing them off. So great stuff. Hopefully Throg will be able to survive then. These lead belchers opening up on those Marauder Horsemen, trying to pursue and just tie them down. It's interesting, you know, I think Norska has the mobility. The lead belchers are going to be tough to operate against them. The chariot artillery of the Ogres, I think, is going to be your best bet for ranged pressure on Norska, and I do think, given Norska's general low armor, that the scrap launcher is probably cost-effective enough to be viable in this matchup, as long as you can, you know, have the saber tusks and play in a mobile way to kind of, you know, reposition constantly, not get caught up by those mobile Norscan units, because Norska is definitely one of those factions that can, you know, kind of fast charge, attack quickly. A lot of mobile units, especially with Frostbite. I mean, I didn't even have any Frost Wolves here. They also would have been a great answer to Lead Belchers, so regardless, though, very fun one from McCoy. I mean, you got to give him style points for bringing Greasus. Everyone knows Greasus is terrible. Even campaign players know that he's terrible in multiplayer, so definitely credit to him. We were talking after the battle, and he said, yeah, I mean, it would have just been better, obviously, to have a caster there, Floor of Maw, and just buff and heal the Sky Striders. I mean, even then, with Greasus, if you were able to find the funds, maybe you cut one of the Lead Belchers or one of the Man-Eaters to take a Fire Belly, the Flaming Sword of Ruin and Cascading Fire Cloak would help Greasus beat Throg, most likely because of the extra damage from fire. Just in general, too, I think the Fire Belly might be a good option here, even if you were to take like a regular Tyrant, which is arguably going to be better than Greasus, because he will also heal, at least while in melee. But anyway, Throg gets some crazy value there. Famir also contributing nicely, doesn't do too much, but support spells definitely on point. Ice Trolls also very happy with their performance, even though they're a little bit of a meme unit. I mean, certainly they proved to be pretty helpful here. Of course, the Javelins are definitely not a meme unit, and although only one of them paid for themselves, tactically they are essential in this matchup, I think. Conversely, from the Ogre's side, you need to sort of prepare accordingly and understand how you're going to shut down Norska's Javelins before the battle even starts, and at least have a plan to do so. From that perspective, I think I might go with more Saber Tusk packs, and maybe even more of a like cavalry mobile-centric build. Again, scrap launchers rather than the lead belchers also gives you a bit more mobility and survivability. But I'm not really sure. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Since that one was relatively short, I do have another replay to show you. Let's go with Ogres versus Skaven. Now, my opinion for Ogres in land battle against a lot of the old world lower armor factions, a sort of fast charge, mass attack of bulls is going to be a good way to go. Today against Heir of Carthage's Skaven, I'm going to do just that. In the second replay, I've got a Slaughtermaster of Beasts. Since the army abilities of Ogres charge up, you know, eating routing units, that's going to be great against the Skaven. I'm not going to need heals, really, because I can pretty reliably get the army ability heal, and also Terror from Massacre, I believe it's called. Anyway, all that means I can take Lore of Beasts and do the Manticore summons for a better fast charge mass attack. Also have the Hunter for actual proper Terror. Noblar's Thiefstone on his Stonehorn mount means he's stocked and can't get hit by artillery on the approach. Got, yeah, 8 bulls, 2 dual weapons, 4 dual weapons, 4 regular. Saber Tusk packs out on the side. Front line of Noblars, of course. For Heir of Carthage's Skaven, Throughout the Unclean coming in on foot, anti-large. Style has also got a Hell Pit Abomination, a Packmaster, a couple of Rat Ogres, a Council Guard, 2 Warp Lightning Cannons, Plague Priest, Warp Grinders in the back, and tons of Clan Rat and Skaven Slave Spears. Wow, all that. 2 huge builds, and you would expect horde gameplay from both of these factions clashing against each other. Nice mass charge from the Ogres into the front lines. Going to do pretty good. I mean, obviously, Skaven Slave Spears will only do so much with their tiny little anti-large bonus and no charge defense. Scrap Launcher also launching in. Again, against the lower armor factions, like I mentioned in the last replay, I do like the Scrap Launcher quite a bit. We're going to get Manticore summoned up here, try and go snipe that Plague Priest, perhaps. The Hunter and the Slaughtermaster attacking out on this flank, though in the center, the Hell Pit Abomination comes back, starts to terrify away and heavily damage some of my Ogre Bulls. I really actually like the pick of the Hell Pit Abomination here. On the other side, Thrott's going to summon in his only unit of Rat Ogres, sorry. Only get the 1 summon. Saber Tusk packs start to turn the flank, though, and we're going to get a big mass charge here. The Creature Killer extra bonus versus large ability will be quite helpful, but unfortunately a lot of these units are going to Terror Route here, as I do activate Massacre on this flank to try and get a big chain Terror Route to win decisively over here, because in the center and over on the far side, things are not necessarily going great. This Hell Pit Abomination is causing me pretty major problems, as it just keeps wiping Ogre models here. And not to mention, I mean, my Slaughtermaster and the Hunter are a little bit caught up in the back line too. Slightly surrounded now, and without too much support, the Hell Pit Abomination can come over and start to deal with them, while my Summon Manticore just 100% fails to snipe this Plague Priest. I mean, I actually shouldn't be that surprised. Plague Priests are not pushovers in combat by any means. 50 attack with Discourage, magic damage, and armor piercing. Frenzy, I mean, they're definitely not... they're sort of like light armor hybrid caster characters, which is kind of cool. Anyway, nice little butcher here. That's the army ability heal. Like I said, didn't feel the need to take Lore of the Great Maw here because I figured to be chasing so many routing units. Like over here, these Noblars chasing off some Clan Rat spears and shields, and with the Saber-Tusk Packs victorious on this flank attack, they pull back. They're now going to come in and try and shut down these Warp Lightning Cannon. It's not that they were doing a ton. I mean, right now they're shooting at my Scrap Launcher, which is not even exactly cost-effective for them. But the Council Guard definitely making a stand in here as well, doing a fairly decent job. Likewise, the Hell Pit Abomination just wrecking my Hunter right now with basically taking very little damage in return. The damage that it is taking is easily regenerated through, especially with the extra regeneration of the Packmaster coming into play. There's double regeneration effects, so yeah, at least while it's active. Anyway, another summon here. Some more Clan Rats going to be pulled in to just keep saturating bodies. Thankfully for me, the Ogres with dual hand weapons, or no, it's a Manticore summon. There we go. We try and get some extra single entity help in this fight. The dual weapons also piling in here. So even though the fight over there is important as well, don't get me wrong, where Thrott's at, this is where a lot of the value of the battle is going to be decided. Nice Wissen's Wild Form here on the Hunter to buff up its weapon damage up to 500. Dual weapon bowls in a surround at the same time that the Manticore also gets into combat. So all of a sudden, 3v1, we're going to have a great engagement against the Hell Pit Abomination here. It is getting the running with the pack extra healing, so 0.2% per second, but the Packmaster gets terrified away here, and I maneuver my Hunter away. It's going to move and kind of replace him with the Slaughtermaster there, checking back into the center engagement here. Noblars, Saber-Tusk Packs, and Ogre Bulls just completely overrunning the Skaven and breaking the last of the Clan Rats. Of course, the Council Guard will continue to hold out, give some extra physical resistance to Thrott and the Plague Priest there, and they'll be relatively hard for me to take out, but at this point I'm planning on just beating them with army losses, more or less. If I can finish off this Hell Pit Abomination, then I'm in pretty good shape, and the Manticore is almost gone, but it has done its job of just adding its weight to this engagement, and especially these dual weapon bulls. I think the Hell Pit, interestingly enough, unsupported when it's getting circle beaten by Ogres, actually seems to not do particularly well. That low armor kind of comes back to haunt it. The weird kind of stutter-stepping animations and just general slowness of the monster does mean that it's in a rough situation. Potentially could get that Too Horrible to Die healing proc, though, and if it does, that's going to be a big problem for me. Let's take a wide view and kind of keep its health bar up as we check. Other parts of the battle, more creature killer here. There's not really a lot of units to benefit from it, but certainly the Council Guard will enjoy that extra bonus versus large. Scrap Launcher probably doing more harm than good at this point, but 33 bonus versus large with that creature killer active. It's quite impressive. Get back on some cinematic action, though, as more Ogres pile in here. The Rat Ogres had come back from route, as did the Warp Grinders there. Tried to get in here to bail out the Hell Pit Abomination, but unfortunately we're not able to get there in time. Or rather, they did get there in time, but kind of got counter-enveloped by all the Saber-Tusk pack. So, pretty good stuff. Well played there of Carthage. It was definitely a fun one. It's, you know, from his build perspective, I think it's not that far off of something that I would most likely take. We both agreed that the Warp Lightning Cannons were fairly useless for him here. I do like the idea of it on paper, but in practice, the Ogres are going to be able to fold your front line very quickly. You kind of have to prepare accordingly. I think, like, literally, if you just sub the 2 Warp Lightning Cannons out for a second Hell Pit Abomination, this build actually starts to get pretty scary. Alternately, you could also, again, cut these 2 and sub the mounts in for the Packmaster and for Thrott. It'll give them more HP, it'll make them cause terror, and give them regeneration, which is 3 huge traits to be able to trade in a long grind. You know, kind of weather that initial phase of the Ogre attack. And like here, in the case of, we saw that Packmaster getting terrified away at one point, obviously with the mount, he would not get terrified away, as he himself would cause terror and could help the Hell Pit Abomination that much better. Likewise, from a tactical perspective, I think Air needed to keep these 3 together as much as possible and maybe try and fight on top of the Council Guard at the end there, but a little bit tough situation, kind of the way the engagement played out. Although he did almost snipe my Hunter, the Ogre army ability heals were able to save both my characters, coming in very clutch. The Scrap Launcher also did a pretty decent job. Bulls, relatively cost-effective. The one especially that got a surround on that Hell Pit Abomination. Goes to show you definitely need those supporting units. I may even cheap out on the shields here for the clan rats. Just go with the regular clan rats. So you can take just that many more units. Maybe a couple of extra Skaven slave spears just for support. Saber tusk packs are awesome in this matchup. I haven't tested them directly against wolf rats, but I think they trade pretty well because wolf rats' leadership is so terrible. And the weapon strength of these guys, I don't know if they one-shot wolf rats on the charge, but it's probably pretty decent. I don't know. It needs more testing, but the regular bull's also very cost-effective. I mean, 118 kills and 173 value. How about that? Noblar is also pretty decent when they get matched up against Skaven. That being said, Council Guard, very solid pick. Would definitely take them even if they didn't pay for themselves. Like I said, the Hell Pit Abomination, very nice. Rat Ogres also performed fairly decently, so I think sort of what I took away from this battle was a Molder build would probably be the way to go with Skaven against Ogres and just try and out melee brawl them in like a really nasty grind. I don't know, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, but that's it for today. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again, see you next time.